Well, the ANC Secretary General, Magashule, will be presenting himself to the Integrity Commission on the 12th of December. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa made the announcement during his closing address of the three-day NEC meeting. Ramaphosa says that the NEC reaffirmed its decision to implement conference resolutions.
While technical legal opinions are important as background information, as a voluntary organization, the ANC is duty-bound to follow its constitution, its rules, conference resolutions, and NEC decisions, as well as, of course, it should operate within the parameters of the Constitution and the laws of the Republic. It is in this context that our meeting welcomed our Secretary General's decision to present himself to the Integrity Commission on the 12th of December 2020. Now, the officials will process the outcomes of that engagement and the determination by the Integrity Commission and report to the NWC as well as the NEC within the broad context of the guidelines that need to be put together. And in arriving at those guidelines, the NEC has noted that we do need to have thoroughgoing discussions with our provinces, the secretaries of our provinces and the leagues, because they too are experiencing precisely the same challenge. We therefore need to integrate the experiences of all the structures of our movement in arriving at a cogent and a thoroughly workable position in this. We are confident that we will be able to traverse our way around this issue and still be able to implement the resolution of our conference.
All right, let's talk more on what the President had to say, and general matters within the ANC NEC. We're joined via Zoom by political analyst Dr Ntsikelelo Breakfast to unpack the ANC National NEC meeting that concluded then today. A very good afternoon to you, Dr. Breakfast. As always, a pleasure to have you here with us on SABC News, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
As a start, I mean, do you feel after listening to that perhaps the President might be sort of downplaying the tensions within the party, within the ANC? I mean, we've kind of seen some of them play out. Let's just give the example that we were talking about now. As we look at Magashule, what's happening, it does, or rather, it can come across or be perceived by some as one faction fighting another. How do you see all of this, and do you sense that the President might perhaps be downplaying tensions within the party?
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head. He was sort of like downplaying the political cleavages which are at play within the ANC by painting a rosy picture as if everything is, well and good and so on. I think the decision to subject the SG to the Integrity Committee was a strategic one. Simply because it must be borne in mind that next year the ANC is going to participate in local government elections, and the ANC needs to function as a unit. It needs to function as a unified force. So there is no way they would have wanted to let go of him and then pose a threat to the stability of the ANC. However, it must be noted that in some quarters, they might come across as if they have missed a golden opportunity by conveying a message that they take the issue of corruption seriously.
Yeah, the fact is that there were disagreements. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had to. What the word that the president used, I think, there was persuade each other. If we have to persuade each other, that means that there were certain differences. What do you think? And you weren't in the room, of course, but what do you think? Some of those bigger sort of disagreements that they would have had to persuade each other on, apart from the issue of the Secretary General, what do you think would have been one of some of the bigger issues that were in the room that had to be discussed, that had to be ironed out, that they had to kind of make some sort of concessions or agreements on?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think if the Ramaphosa faction, because it does have a slight upper hand in the ANC, if they wanted to let go of the SG, they could have done that. Yeah. But I think for strategic reasons, they couldn't do so because that was going to affect the way they function as a unit when they are approaching the local government elections. But I'm sure there must have been debates about the economy. I'm sure there must have been debates about how to handle the issue of COVID-19 and so on.
Yeah, the issue of, and it's a pity we really have to go back to the issue of factions within the ANC, but it really does seem to be quite a hallmark, really, of what the ANC really is about. I mean, if we look at the past and we look at the factional issues that have presented in the past, they've never really ended well. I mean, we just have to look at what happened with former President Thabo Mbeki, what happened to former President Jacob Zuma. As you've currently said to us, there is that factional issue. How do you see this playing out? I mean, you mentioned quite briefly there in your last answer that the Cyril camp seems to have the upper hand, and that if they wanted to, they could have really gone in hard when it comes to Ace Magashule. But how do you see this kind of playing out in the end? Because no doubt the faction that's not having the upper hand at the moment will, what some call it, will fight back, if I can put it that way.
Look, the conflict between these factions have not been done away with, but they've been managed because of what I referred to earlier on, that they've got elections just around at the corner. So those factions and other battles that are at play, they are still going to come into the picture. I think the ANC has reached a point whereby it cannot heal itself. I think the divisions are too deep. They can manage them and try to de-escalate the conflicts here and there. But I don't think that it is practically possible to do away with those tensions completely.
Yeah, I heard the president saying that we must act decisively to rid our organization of corruption. He said that they reaffirmed the decision to implement the conference resolutions on corruption. In your view, do you think that the ANC is really taking the issue of corruption seriously, especially when it comes to implicating wrongdoing on part of their members and the members that are on the stronger camp, if I can put it that way? Or is the issue of corruption really being used to deal with those that are perhaps not in the camp that's got the upper hand, as you put it?
Look, I think the ANC doesn't speak the same language. On the one hand, you have the forces of RET who don't think that what had happened during the time of former President Zuma should have happened. They don't see anything wrong. They think that what had happened was just the implementation of radical economic transformation. Then you have now the CR17 camp who think that what had happened during the time of state capture should never have happened. So the RET forces, they think that the fight that the president is waging against corruption is a way of harassing certain people, maybe who never, supported him, and blah, blah, blah. So I don't think that they will ever speak the same language on that score. Hence, for instance, currently they are pulling in different directions.
Yeah. Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast, a great pleasure having you with us. Thank you very much for giving us your input. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's a political analyst. They're joining us via Zoom, Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast, weighing in on the ANC NEC meeting and that closing address by the President Cyril Ramaphosa.